Hello everyone, I am Nicole Oman and welcome to your Pick a Reading video. This week we are focused on the full moon in Sagittarius. This powerful full moon on Friday is going to help us with clarity in our direction. We have the full moon in Sagittarius, meaning the moon's in Sagittarius and the sun is in the opposite sign of Gemini. Gemini energy is represented by the twins. These are two split parts of ourselves that might have opposing viewpoints or direction. I always say it's the right brain versus the left brain. There's a part of us who wants to be logical, structured, safe, organized, and linear. And then there's also a part of ourselves that wants to take risks, get creative, follow our intuition, even if logically it's thrown out the window. This part of us also knows about cyclical experiences, that your growth and healing is not linear. And so there's two opposing forces that's going on with every time we go into Gemini. Gemini is also connected to a lot of mental energy. And so we might have two different viewpoints, two different voices that are really loud inside of our minds, pulling, tugging, trying to fight for our attention on which way we are going. Sagittarius energy is like, okay, it's the archer, right? So it is pointed, it's focused. In these next readings, I am going to be calling upon the goddess Diana. She is the energy of directed focus. How do we get focused? Where are we pointing? Where are we pointing our intentions? Where are we pointing our energy? And also, where are we taking committed action? That is the way that we are that's whatever you're doing those things in is where we're going to head moving forward. And this is a beautiful time to be able to really choose which way you want to go. So with all that being said, we are going to go into 3 different readings. You can choose which one feels resonant to you. A lot of times they're so very different that you can listen to all 3 and get a complete full message. If one doesn't resonate, that's okay, let it go, or don't even watch it, whatever. Listen to your intuition, listen to yourself, and just feel into the one that feels right for you. So in reading 1, we connect to the full moon in Sagittarius a little deeper. We also connect to our emotional intelligence, our divine feminine intelligence, and also all of the healing that we have already accomplished in the last few years of our life. How do we take this wisdom, this emotional wisdom that we have cultivated, and we actually put it into practice? These are the themes that we go into in reading 1. If this feels like your reading, you can skip to this reading by just clicking the time signature below. In reading 2, we dive into an old relationship or an old relationship dynamic. This might be an ex that has been recent, or it might be an ex that you might have divorced many years ago, but still is affecting your ability to open your heart and allow someone else to come in. We also connect to the energy of finding your strength and your resilience, that what you're going through is a meaningful process, and that through this time you are going to strengthen your ability and your spiritual gifts, and really come into yourself in a very new and empowering way. If this feels like the reading for you, you can skip to this reading by clicking the time signature below. Reading 3, we connect to this energy of feeling like we're waiting for an opportunity to drop in for us. Well, I can see that this opportunity that we have been setting intentions for, or even working towards to manifest in our life, is coming in, and it's coming in very, very soon. But we also have to face the reality of what we've been asking for to really know if this opportunity is the one that really truly aligns with our soul. If this feels like the message for you, you could skip to your reading by clicking on reading 3 in the time signature below. Okay, let's jump into your reading. The first card that I have in the theme position is the Moon card. Am I surprised? Not really. This totally represents this full moon in Sagittarius. So I am going to break this card down because it is a perfect representation of this particular full moon in Sag. So in the middle, we have the full moon in Sagittarius telling us that it is supporting us, it is guiding us, and it is directing us to where we need to go. It is full, it is bright, it is illuminated, and it's telling you to surrender into this energy because this is going to light your way in a way that maybe is unexpected. What I also love here is these two wolves representing this Gemini energy, the two opposite forces of yourself, the masculine side with the white wolf and the feminine side, it represented in the black wolf. The white wolf represents the ability to take action, to go for what you want, to put force out into the world, to see things in a linear and practical way. And then it is balanced between this feminine energy that's saying receive, surrender, listen, be creative, pull something out of the void. And how do we know when to take action and when to surrender? When do we know when to speak or to listen? And this is what I would say. I would say as we listen and we become inspired by our inner world, then we can start taking action that is guided rather than going into the fear spin out of like, this is what I have to do. Okay, if you're in that fear spin out that you have a million things on the to-do list, sitting back, listening, what would be in my best interest right now in this very moment to take action on? What is the first thing? What do I need to prioritize? So we don't just spin out our wheels. We know what our heart desires, what our inner guidance is telling us to do, so we take inspired action instead of fear-based action. Then at the bottom of the card is this beautiful woman surrendering into her emotions. And that is the representation of this Saturn in Pisces energy. We must gain a better relationship to our emotions. Sometimes we do feel like they might be sinking us and we can't see clearly because our emotions might be very overwhelming. But I'm getting from this card is we need to trust them a little bit more. They might be telling us where not to go. If it doesn't feel right, then there's a reason why it doesn't feel right. I had this come up for me the other day as I was getting this deep kind of pain in my heart. But instead of trying to avoid it, I began to sink into it. And what it was telling me is that I'm trying too hard and I need to just surrender. There's so much on my plate and there's so many things to do. We're going through a move and we're dealing with our finances and I'm trying to figure out how to budget this. And I'm trying to like micromanage all of these things and I'm getting in my own way. And they said, once you surrender, this is going to flow a lot easier. What we have to understand is the nature of surrendering into the current itself and letting it pull us instead of trying to spin our wheels and exhausting ourselves when we have this beautiful current like a river that is pulling us or just taking us to exactly where we need to go, and we can kind of not work so hard, right? So there's this energy of learning just the connection to water, your connection to water. I would go to a river, I would take a bath. Start realizing, understanding the properties of water, and you'll understand this kind of Piscean energy as well. As we move past this theme, which is the full moon, what I want to say, the last thing I want to say about this full moon is, I would tell you to do some sort of ceremony or a connection to the moon herself. Go outside on that Friday and start speaking from your intuition to this celestial being. This being wants to give you guidance, but you have to let go of like, I'm crazy, I'm talking to the moon. Yes, we're talking to the natural, right? The natural beings that are guiding us forward, these energies that are always constantly affecting us. The moon herself pulls the tides. So why wouldn't we believe as humans that are mostly composed of water, I think it's 60 or 70%, wouldn't be pulled by these same energies? The moon pulls on water. It pulls on our feelings. It pulls on our emotional connection or our emotional intelligence. So we need to listen to this deeper wisdom that is trying to guide us into where we need to be and who we want to be. So let's go into the present position now. We have the Queen of Cups, which is the Queen of Water, which is the Queen of our emotions. She is learning how to work with the current. She's working with her emotions, directing her emotions, so the emotions aren't sinking her or overwhelming her. At the same time, we have the Seven of Pentacles, which is a very grounded energy. This is also teaching us the cycle of our own growth. When we are going through a process of healing, of development, if you will, we have to be patient with it. It's like when we plant the seed and we're like, why isn't it growing or bearing fruit? Well, there's a cycle of time that this tree has to develop so that it can be stable enough to bear fruit, if you will. But I see a lot of growth here. I see a lot of like right in your present moment, you've been having a lot of emotional growth. You also have been seeing why maybe that you've gone through some of the issues that you've experienced in the last couple of years and maybe through your entire lifetime. Things might be starting to make a little bit more sense to you. But more than anything, with this Queen of Cups, I'm starting to realize that you're taking more ownership of your feelings, that you're not playing victim to your feelings or what has happened to you, that you're learning how to work with them instead of them taking you over, being swept up by the wave of your own emotions. But getting into this emotional power, I love how she has this crown of water on her head and this cup at her heart. What is saying is whatever's coming through her heart, she is using it as her crown, her awareness. The crown is telling us, connects us to our wisdom. She's taking these emotions and she's turning them into wisdom instead of feeling completely out of control by them. So congratulations on that. That is a huge, huge win if you are finding more grounded maturity in what used to make you depressed, make you resentful, make you bitter, make you feel hateful. Now you're going, no, I'm going to heal. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to open up my heart again and put myself back out there, allow myself to be authentic to my own heart and do what I know needs to be done. Okay? Let's go into the past position now. This is an energy that has happened in our past that might still be affecting us. I have the Empress in reverse. This is, again, mother energy. So this could be our own mother or the way that we mothered our children or our relationship to our children. I'm getting it in both. So it depends on where you are at in this journey. This might be telling us to look at our old relationship to our mother. There was a construct here that might have kept you in a box. It might be any sort of criticism that she may have had for you, or the vision or dream she had for you, that you might have kind of subconsciously put yourself in that box without realizing it. This is only what I'm capable of because this is what my mother was capable of. And that can feel really restrictive. I'm also getting this energy from your children. Maybe what you thought a mother was in your own head put you in a box. So you didn't focus on yourself. You only focused on your children. You only focused on others because that's what a good mother does. She sacrifices herself for her children and becomes only what her family needed her to be. And now it's time to get back into who you want yourself to be. And the more that you trust your own unique expression, the more that you are going to feel fulfillment, and also your family will heal. You will heal the relationship to your mother, and you will heal the relationship with your children. But we have to get out of our own little tight box of restriction, of thought, of I am getting this energy of compartmentalization of certain things that you wanted to do. No, that's not in the cards for me. I can't be that artist. I couldn't be the musician. I couldn't do those things because I needed to be there. Well, now you have to look at the things that you may have tucked into a corner somewhere, pull it back out, start opening those boxes of talent, skills that are underdeveloped that you might have had as a child. You had in your 20s or whatnot. And these might be the things that you begin to commit to again. And that might feel a little awkward and weird, and you might not be as good as you were years ago. But the more that you can develop this again, the more that you will take that on as your new identity and start to realize that it might have needed a little bit more time, more patience to cook on the back burner so you didn't do anything wrong. But now this part of your life needs more attention, okay? This part of your personality needs more attention. And let's go into the advice from Spirit, because this is going to help me with this energy for you. So it is the 5 of Cups in reverse. There's a part of ourselves that we were emotionally attached to that we are beginning to let go. So again, if it's like, I put all my eggs in the mother basket, I have to let go of that part of myself. But you're always going to be a mother, but I have to let go of my emotional attachment of the way I think it should be. You might have to let go of like subtle ideas of who you kind of melded yourself to be. So you were like perfect or you're doing the right thing or whatever that might be right in your head. But we have to connect to what we want. And here's the tricky thing. When we start to realize that we have been working on programs that might not be our own, we can go, why didn't I do this sooner? We can have these really dark, sad, grieving thoughts. But at the same time, allow them to process. We have to grieve an old way so that we can develop and become stronger in our new way. We have to feel the lesson without indulging in it, but feeling the lesson so that you don't go back to the way that it was. You're being called to do this. Do it in a more fulfilling way. All right, so in the future position, this is what we're going to be focusing on, is you for the next 1 to 3 months, the Hermit. The only thing, if there's any other opinions from external sources, I want you to pull yourself back, pull yourself in. The way that you have to navigate your life is through your center, through you. Where do you want to go? Yes, you can think about how that would affect your family, affect your relationships, and affect other people. But in the same token, if you're leaving yourself out, that you're doing it for everyone else, where do they want to go? What do they want to do? Then you're not getting and heeding what Spirit, what your inner guidance is trying to tell you. You have to almost be the leader or the director of where the family's heading this time, okay? Because whatever your needs are already connected to your family, connecting to their needs. And you might be surprised how much they support you. So think of it this way. I'm getting this kind of vision of a mother who has older children that might be having children of their own. And their family wants maybe to, oh, here, grandma, you take the kids, you take the kids. And you're like, I've been doing that my entire life. All I really want to do is focus on something that would really light me up. And so what I want you to do is, I know that might cause you grief to go against what your family wants for you, but in time, they will see how happy you are and see that, oh, okay, I get mom can be herself, but also be there to support in a different way, right? Because if you continue to do what you're doing, you might be enabling them from their own lessons too. So this is really about focusing on what path you want to create for yourself. And it's never too late to choose the path that you desire and that you've always wanted to do. What is that thing? I was watching a Steven Spielberg documentary the other day, and he was talking about how when quarantine happened, that he was looking at his scripts that he had written or ideas that he had, just kind of played around with. And he said to himself, what is the story I want to tell that I would feel really remiss if I did not tell it before I died? And it was his story of his childhood. And that's why he created the Fablemans. And so I want you to kind of look at that. Now, you might not be at the end of your life, but you might be like me in your midlife going, what do I want now? What do I want to do? And it's okay to make a course correction. It's okay at this full moon to make a course correction. I think you're going to put your path back into its right order, but trust the moon. Go outside, talk to it, communicate so that you get it from yourself, not from a reader, not from a video. There's so much noise bombarding us. I want you to get this inspiration from your own heart, because that's when it becomes real. That's when it becomes a guidance that you get to connect to in your own way. And that's extremely important, okay? That you get your own guidance system. You can listen to others, that's great. But make sure that when you make these important decisions in your life, they're coming from you. Okay. All right, everyone, that is your reading. If you like what I do, please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you want to book a reading or you want me to just hold space for you and ask you the right questions so you feel really empowered, really confident to pull those messages out for yourself, I'm really good at that. You can book a session with me. Well, until next time, have a beautiful full moon. Allow this to transform you back into your heart's alignment. And I will see you next week. Namaste. Okay, let's start your reading. The first card I have in the theme position is the Strength card. This major arcana card is telling me that you might be going through something in your life that is quite challenging or maybe even stressful, and you're having to learn how to gain strength, dedication, resilience through a difficult time. But what I'm getting from this energy is you are going through this for a purpose. It is here to literally build spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical muscles that you will need as you get through the challenges and into the next part of your path. When I go through my hard times, it's easy to go into that place of victimhood and feeling like you can't get anything moving, that you're training at 100 times gravity. If you know Dragon Ball references, there's this part in this cartoon that these group of warriors go into a training facility and they literally train at 100 times gravity. So their muscle becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So when they go into regular gravity, they are like superheroes. This is what it feels like you're going through spiritually right now, or maybe even in your life. But know deeply that this period of time will not last forever, that you're going into a bit of a training boot camp for your soul, and that you are learning specific tasks, abilities. Even asking for help might be one. You might be having to look at different resources. You might be having to get creative. You might not just be relying on one source of income. You might be having to look at your life in a way that is challenging you, breaking down old belief structures, patterns, so that you can become embodied in a new part of yourself. Let's go in to the present position and how this relates to this strength of a theme. So the first card that I have is the 9 of Wands, and next to it or crossing it is the Chariot card. The 9 of Wands is resiliency. That is totally working with the theme of the strength card. There might be 9 specific challenges that you might be going through, or a cycle of 9 months of challenges. Because it's in your present position, you're already going through it. So it might not be like the start of 9 months of challenges. You might be like smack dab in the middle of it. But what it's helping you do is to move forward. So the Chariot card is the card of the warrior, but it can also be the card of a big move and a big transition. What I love about this is this Chariot card, which is also a major arcana card, meaning this gives me the signal that something very big in your life is happening now that has the ability to change you and change your trajectory of your life, that is going to be pretty significant, okay? The Chariot is very much a representation of the Sagittarius full moon. Here is this person, the Sagittarius kind of energy almost, inside the Chariot. He is directing the Gemini energy, these 2 phoenixes, one of the white energy, which is yang, masculine, directional, very, right-brained kind of oriented, very practical. And then this beautiful phoenix of the feminine, the dark side, the receiving, the creative nature in us. And these 2 beautiful phoenixes are both having a say on where we're going. But at the same time, you're in the Chariot having to direct this forward, because I'm getting so much energy around warriorship. When we go through dark periods of time, a lot of times in spirituality, it's like, oh, love and light, and I want everything to feel good all the time. That is not why we came to the planet. We didn't come to be floating above our reality. We're here to experience reality so we can gain a sense of understanding and wisdom within our own soul. When I had my enlightenment experience, when I asked in that state, what is the meaning of life? I got the answer in one word: experience. Our whole life, we're here to experience what we're supposed to experience. It's neither good nor bad or right nor wrong. It is a culmination of the light and the dark that's giving us a contrast of different experiences so that we may grow, we may learn, we may understand, and we may become more and more whole within the totality of the 100 million different possibilities that we could possibly experience, right? So we have to honor what is coming up, what our challenges are, because this is the very time period in your life that is fortifying you into becoming the new incarnation in this lifetime of you, okay? So you have to trust this, and you've got to trust the way that you're moving forward. Now, if you are being guided to move, which I'm actually this month, I'm moving to Florida from Colorado. This is a huge move. That can bring a lot of fear and uncertainty. But if you're being called to make this move, know that each little step that you're taking is teaching you a different skill, a different and different nugget of knowledge that you will need to move forward. Okay. So inside whatever this moving forward is, in this process, it's not necessarily about the destination itself. It's about what you're learning right here in the present moment and every step that it takes to get you to that next place. So if you're not making a move, you might actually be making a move to a different career or a different relationship. So let's go into that, because I do feel some relationship energy that has an undercurrent to what is going on in your life and the building of your strength. In your past position, I have the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups is the energy of a male figure who's usually over the age of 30 to 40, someone who has a little bit more grounded experience. This usually is a male figure. It can be a water sign, which would be Cancer. It could be... wow, why did they jump out of my head? Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. There we go. And if it's not that if this male energy is not coming in from those particular signs, it's okay. This is an energy of maybe lost love. This could be an energy of a father figure or an ex relationship. Love went wrong. And this might be the very thing that is driving you forward to make these changes, to make this move, right? Is because something didn't work out. And because of that, I almost feel like there's maybe some splitting of property that are happening. There's some splitting of resources, if you will, right? Maybe even splitting of ideas, what you thought your life was going to be. You had a trajectory of like, okay, this is how I was going to live out the rest of my life. But there's something here that flipped upside down, maybe unexpected, and now you have to kind of retool who you are and where your life is headed. Also, this relationship may not have broken up recently. This might have been a divorce that happened 10, 15 years ago, but it's still affecting you now. And it's still affecting the decisions that you're in, the way that you're moving forward. If you're dealing with something like maybe you're not breaking up a relationship, but maybe your husband lost his job, or is it financially being able to support you, or not just financially, because this didn't come in pentacles. Maybe your husband is not emotionally supporting you right now and never really has been there. What I'm getting is there is a retooling. You may even decide to begin to let them go because you have realized that maybe the emotional connection, the emotional maturity, the emotional support you need from a man is something that you actually do deserve. And so even if you haven't broken up with them yet, you might be thinking about what you really want, this emotional fulfillment that you want in a partnership or a relationship, or an emotional fulfillment that you want from a career. Maybe that's something that you sacrificed for finances, okay? So there is a very big arrow pointing to your emotional fulfillment. That was also a theme in reading 1, that we can't let go or deny our feelings, our emotional needs, and our emotional growth. We have Saturn in Pisces for the next 2.5 years. This is going to be around emotional maturity, developing this connection to what our emotions need, and maybe making them more of a priority rather than them. We've been trained and conditioned in the West to believe that we need to shut down our feelings, shut down our emotions. When we have depression, take an antidepressant. Oh, you lost your parent? Get over that grief. Let's go. Let's keep moving forward. But there's something that happens in the grief process. There is a wisdom within our feelings, within our emotions. Yes, we have to learn maybe not to indulge them fully, or they become overwhelming, or they become something that we can't process, but that's where therapy comes in. That's where healing comes in. Some people do it in many different ways. There's many different ways to find emotional processing and emotional development. But one thing I really want you to do is start writing down your feelings. The more that you can write down your feelings, I'm feeling like this, or I have a sensation of sadness in my heart. Where is the sadness coming? If you continue to become curious about where these emotions are coming from, this emotional development that's happening for you will continue to mature. The problem is, and we're going to go back to this King of Cups a little bit, the more that you emotionally mature and the people around you do not, it's going to become more and more disruptive to your own growth. And then you have to make some tough decisions when it comes to how you want to move forward, okay? So let's get some advice from Spirit. The advice I get is the Two of Cups in reverse. The Two of Cups in reverse is a relationship that might be a little toxic at the moment. When I look at this card, I see the Two Cups with the caduceus, right? That's the two snakes, like Kundalini rising, with the one center, the Shushuna. And that is telling us that our relationship can be medicine when it's in the upright position. When it's in the upside down position, I might tell you that a relationship that you have, one that you're close to, might be toxic or a little bit poisonous. It might not just be poisonous to you, it might be also poisonous to them. Your dynamic isn't linking in the way that it used to, or linking in the way that supports both of your needs. When you listen to yourself, really listen to yourself. Now, I'm not telling you to go get a divorce tomorrow. I'm not telling you to go dump your significant other. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I'm telling you is you might have to call a spade and see where these toxic dynamics are linking up. The more that you can take responsibility for you and not go into that victim mentality of that person's a narcissist or that person's a this. Yeah, sure, we can label people in whatever we need to. But at the same time, if you stay in your lane and go, wow, okay, I am really unhappy. And that doesn't mean anybody's wrong. Nobody has to take fault. The truth might be as simple as taking responsibility that that's a truth that you have. I'm really unhappy in this relationship. And just leave it at that for a second and see the next thing that bubbles up. Sometimes we want to go right into, how do I fix it? Maybe it's not to be fixed. After you admit to yourself, I'm not happy in this. Then you say, then what do I want? What does make me happy? And that is what you can figure out. What would make me happy? What really needs to be tended to? And it might be a deeper emotional desire. What am I really wanting? Because you can't ask your partner to shift with you if you don't know a foundational base of what you're wanting from that relationship. Well, what I want is more romance. Okay, well, what does romance look for you? Well, maybe we need to go take a vacation together. Maybe we don't need to go to couples therapy. Maybe we need to go on hikes together. What is a commonality that will bring medicine back to poison, right? Do we need to, and they always say, right, that the dose makes a poison. Maybe you have too little quality time with your partner, that you need more quality time where you're both doing things you like together. Maybe you have too much time with each other and you need to focus on your individual needs. So look at your relationship the way that it is, or if it is not a relationship for you, maybe it's your job. What do you need a little bit more of? What do you need a little bit less? Is there subtle changes that you can do instead of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater? Or do you have to throw the baby out? I mean, maybe this relationship has been over for a very long time, and that's something that you have to just come to terms with. Let's go into the future position. Wow, I can't believe I'm doing a general reading with this kind of specificity, but I'm reading the cards the way they are. I'm listening to spirit, so I have to say it like this. Okay, so in the future position, I have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is emotional fulfillment. Woohoo! But there's a little bit of a threshold guardian. There's a little bit of a guarded kind of person here. So this is what I get from this card. I get two things. The first thing that I get is this might be you. You might be guarding your heart. So right behind you is all the fulfillment that you need. But instead of looking at it and going and being really open to the fulfillment that your heart is desiring, you're being stubborn. We need to uncross our arms. We need to open up our heart, and we need to allow people to come into our life or allow your partner to shift. If we are giving them demands and then they don't do it the first time you ask them, are you really being realistic here? Are you really allowing time and space for things to heal? Are you the one that's blocking love from your life because you don't trust love? These are questions that you can ask and that you can start taking self-responsibility of where you're not allowing love to enter. The second thing that I have is you might have a threshold guardian who's guarded. So this might be a male figure or your partner. They might not be receiving love. But here's the kicker. You can't change anyone else. You can't force them to do anything that you want them to do. That is a very demanding behavior that's coming from a place of trying to change the world around you. You can inspire them to change. You can ask them what your needs are. But if that threshold guardian is not moving, then those are the decisions that you have to make. You might have to call a spade and say, this man is never going to change. This relationship is never going to change. It is what it is. So then you have two different options. You either accept that that's the way it's going to be and find happiness right where you're at, or do you need to make necessary changes to begin to fill up your cups again so that you can find yourself? Maybe you got lost in this relationship a little bit. I pulled one more card that goes with the future position, and I got the World card. There is a little bit of the world is your oyster, but you need to be pretty vulnerable. She's naked, right? So when I see a card that has someone who is naked, it means that they have to take off all their armor, all the guards, and they have to be really vulnerable to themselves. They don't have to be vulnerable to other people. They need to be really, really clear and honest about what they want, what their needs are, so they can figure out what kind of world they want to be a part of. Now, that doesn't mean the entire planet. This means, what does your reality look like? What do you want it to look like? And only you can fulfill those desires by taking the actions that are in alignment with your own happiness. If you're not being fulfilled in a certain way emotionally, maybe you have to connect back to your own creative nature. Maybe you have to go into an acting class or a writing class or an art class or something that you loved as a child that felt fulfilling to you. You might not want to do that fully as a career, but at least that will start filling a cup of happiness that will inspire the next cup and then inspire the next cup and start leading you to more emotional fulfillment and happiness, okay? So that's what I get for you. If you like this reading and you would like to have a little bit more specificity for yourself, you can book a reading with me. Also, if you want to do a session with emotional processing and allowing yourself to kind of uncover these truths with someone who's non-judgmental and can ask you the right questions, you can book a session with me and we could do that together. If nothing else, if you like this video, please subscribe so you can get more of this information totally free and totally consistent, because I will be here next week. All right, everyone, I will see you again soon. Have a beautiful full moon and Sagittarius. And remember, you are worthy to be happy. You are worthy to allow yourself to receive the love that you're needing. You can be courageous. Find the strength. This is all happening for a reason. Trust it. You will be resilient and move through this process. All right, everyone, I'll see you soon. Namaste. Okay, let's jump into your reading. So in your theme position, we have the Aloneness card in reverse. This is a major arcana card. Now, I want to tell you that all three of my readings this week all had theme positions within a major arcana. Major arcana cards are the 21 main cards that tell me that whatever you're going through is a big archetypical process for your soul. This is where we change and become more in alignment with what our soul wants, okay? So this could be a big shift in your whole life that might take you on a different course than you saw in your head. This is why the Sagittarius full moon is such a big deal. It feels like maybe I'm getting very clearly in this reading that an opportunity might drop into your life that A, you did not expect, B, you didn't see coming, and C, will take you on a different route. But it's okay. This is not a bad thing. But let me go into this aloneness card, okay? So the aloneness card is telling me that you either A, have been trying to do this all on your own, and you're getting exhausted by feeling like you're the only one that can do anything, that's reliable, and all of these different stories that we have. This can also make us feel really lonely, where we don't feel like we're connecting to a community that really kind of understands us. The second energy that I'm getting that may be this representing this card is that you might be having a lot of other voices around you, and they want you to go in their direction. But at the end of the day, you have to continue to trust yourself. You have to continue to stop being like pulled on too many directions and like pick a plot line, pick a focus, pick what you want. You can't be this waffly thing. Once you choose something, that will start a domino effect that will help lead you into something that's more sustainable or more solid, okay? So what the energy that I'm getting from this card is just pick something. If it's the wrong thing, then you will get looped back around like this to the path that's right for you. So if you're at a crossroad and you pick the wrong way, it might loop back and hit the path that you could have went on, right? You could always loop back around. It's fine. But if you just stand at the crossroad going, I'm going to pitch a tent here because I don't know what to choose, that's when you stop your progression moving forward. So pick something. Again, I keep getting these dominoes. Once you pick something, the dominoes will be able to move forward with more grace and ease. So let's go into the present position and see what's going on right now. I have the silence card, which is also major arcana, which is so full moon, right? Look at this. It's in reverse. And then I have the possibilities in reverse as well. The energy that I'm getting into this is you need to be a little patient. That's funny because that's the past position, then I'll get there in a second. You have to be patient. There's something very potent about this full moon for you. It might bring in something you do not see. There's a possibility on the horizon that hasn't dropped in yet, but you are driving yourself crazy. Your head is like, bah, bah, bah. It's not silent. You are trying to control it. But if you breathe and trust the message that is being given, is something's going to drop in. You can't control it. You don't have any control. You don't have any it's kind of fated. So you have to, the more that you can relax, quiet your mind, not torment yourself during this waiting period, the better off you're going to be. In the past position, I have the patience card. I also feel like this is something like you've been waiting for from the past. Maybe it's an intention you set last year. Maybe it's something that has been in the works and you just had to go into a cycle of time, a cycle of gestation. The woman is pregnant. So once you conceive the baby, it doesn't mean that the baby goes, poof, I'm a baby. Like it takes 9 months for the baby to develop. And so this is the same thing in any sort of projects that you've been putting out there, career changes, life changes. There's a cycle of time. And so what I'm getting here is there is something that's coming in through the cycle of two, okay? The cycle of two, that possibilities card is coming. So maybe it will be 2 weeks after the full moon, or it might be within the next 2 months. Something will be dropping in for you that you've been kind of gestating for a while. We're just kind of in this slight holding pattern of ripeness, of like letting it kind of coagulate or develop. If the baby is born too soon, then the baby has to go in the NICU and you have to wait for the baby to come home anyway. So if we just allow things to gestate, not try to push them forward, the baby will come right on time, okay? So the card that I get for your advice from Spirit is the abundance card. It is the King of Pentacles on the upright position. So there's some sort of opportunity that is dropping down that will be in the state of abundance. This also can be a masculine figure. So you might be getting an opportunity from a male figure, from a male boss, from maybe someone is wanting to help you or support you in some way and it's masculine. This can also be a relationship that feels very supportive, very solid, balanced, grounded, right? This could be a love relationship, but this also can be a friendship that comes out and like really wants to help you create whatever you're trying to create, which is going to benefit everyone involved. So it will benefit you, but it will also benefit this person who's giving you the abundance. But I don't think of it as a bad, it's not negative. I do see though, that there will be a time period of like shedding projection. So let's go into the future position here. The future position is the politics card in reverse. So I picked a card with it, and it was the projections card. So when this opportunity is presented to you, you both might project what you want onto that person or onto the opportunity. It's going to take you a little bit of time to shed the projections. And shed the fears, because with the politics in reverse, what you might be dealing with is either this is too good to be true. And so you're kind of hesitant and you're not allowing yourself to fully trust this experience or this opportunity or this person that comes into your life. Or you have to see I want to say it this way, the minor shadows that will pop up with any new relationship or any new opportunity, right? You're going to maybe project, it's called ludus. It's one of the Greek terms for love, Ludus. And I think it's connected to the third eye. Ludus is that part of the relationship of love when you meet a person and you project all the most beautiful things on that person. You can also do the opposite. You can also project all the worst qualities onto a person. But really what it is a filter that you're putting out from your past experiences or what you really want to bring in. So you put it all on that opportunity or all on that person. And then you have to see what the reality of this opportunity or person really is, right? It's kind of the shedding of what you think it was and you actually get to see. It's like, oh, I really like that relationship. But when we moved in together and he puts the towels on the floor and and he kind of acts like a kid. Yeah, but every relationship is going to have things that are irritating. They're going to have things that don't, that bother you. But does their irritating things does it does it need to be dismissed? Do you need to let it go? Or is it things that you both have to grow through together so you can solidify the relationship in a better way? Same thing with a job. You get the new job, you worked really hard to get it, you have the salary you want, but then you realize what the day-to-day mundane tasks are. Are they things that you're willing to grow into? Are they things that you maybe even have to shift of like, oh, they're giving me too much. I need to delegate. I need to do this. So we might come in starry-eyed and be really getting the abundance opportunity, but then we have to go into a state of reality with it. I don't see this as a negative thing at all, but I do see this as a process of seeing what your dreams, what your desires really require. So if this is something that you've been looking for, this opportunity you've been looking for a very long time, and it finally gestated, and here's a perfect example. I know this because I'm a mother. Before I was a mother, we have all these ideas of what motherhood's going to look like. We're so focused on the birth, how this is going to go. And I remember after having my baby, I had my baby at home and she's in my arms. I've never breastfed before. I've never done any of this, right? And the midwife goes, okay, bye. And I'm like, what am I doing? I have no idea what to do. And then the reality hit. I had to figure out how to breastfeed. I had to figure out how to change diapers. I had to figure out how this baby worked. And it went from being, I'm pregnant to I have a reality of a baby. And it takes a little bit of time to process that and to let go of the old self. But it's not something you didn't want, right? You wanted this baby, you wanted this thing, but now you have to get used to your new life. So I hate to like put a little veneer of like poo-pooing your parade because this new opportunity of abundance is coming through. But just know that you still get to decide. And the next 7 months, if this is the opportunity that you're going to fully ground into, and if it's not, allow it to be 7 months of a cycle of growth that you need for your next journey. So I was going to edit that out because my daughter spilled water all over her room. But I kind of think it is perfect for what I was saying. That's the reality of it, right? Like here I have kids. I'm dealing with the reality of my situation. The kids are home from school right now and I'm recording these with them. And so that's what I mean. If the reality doesn't match what you really wanted, you get to make other adjustments to help you to help you on your path. But I think that this is a great new opportunity for you. I think this is going to bring you a different path for your life. And I also think that this is going to be an opportunity for a great amount of maturity to build and for you to continue to cultivate. Yes, the opportunity is one thing, but then there's a cultivation of that abundance that comes with it. And so I think you got this, but at the same time, it is going to take a little bit of effort, a little bit of taking off the rose-colored glasses, but still staying optimistic, but also knowing the reality of what your new opportunity and what your desires that you've been calling in really take to ground in so they're sustainable. All right, everyone, if you like my readings, you can book a reading with me to get more specificity for what you need. You can also book a session with me and I can help break some of these possibilities, these opportunities down for you. And if nothing else, you can book a session with me. All right, everyone, until next week, I will see you soon. Namaste.